got my rods and reels. It's the real deal. Come on. Come on.
I've had a lot of great times in Grand Cayman with many close friends. The fishing is remarkable year-round, and blue marlin can be caught all year, just a few miles offshore. It is the largest of the 3 Cayman Islands, which include Little Cayman and Cayman Brac. They're located just a few lines south of Cuba and the beautiful Caribbean Ocean. The Cayman Island Fishing Club and Guy Harvey have invited me down here this week. I'll be spending most of my days fishing aboard the Stocks and Blondes with the McCartney family and the club president, Franklin Thompson, alongside a handful of other active members. I'm spending time with Guy at Stingray City, learning about the Stingray census he annually heads up, and meeting his entire team. On the night of my arrival, I went down to the fishing club to get acquainted with the membership, enjoy some cocktails, and of course, share some fishing stories. So Franklin, how old is the club?
The club is 31 years old. It was formed in 1983.
And you must be proud to have been a part of it all this long.
It's very rewarding when you see the younger fellas coming along and picking up the model and doing a good job. It's quite rewarding.
How many members are in the Cayman Island Fishing Club?
We have about 220 members in the club.
So Samara, I see that you're the only woman here, but I'm assuming you're not the only woman in this club.
No, absolutely not. There's quite a few lady anglers.
People always associate Grand Cayman as a dive destination. You rarely hear anybody talk about a fishing destination.
Tried to keep it a secret because we enjoyed it so much, but we were decided, you know, it's something you have to share with the world. It really is a special place.
IGFA Anglers Digest is proudly sponsored by Tropic Star Lodge, Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation, Cobian Footwear, step into quality, comfort, and performance, Mojo Sportswear. Get your Mojo on today. Halco Lures, making smart fish dumb. Wild Ocean, for the future of fishing.
Here we are at Stingray City. Actually, this is the sandbar area. There's actually 2 sites where the stingrays do congregate. This one's really good for tourists because you literally just hop out of a boat, stand up, and the stingrays just come around you. In fact, you can see how popular the site is by looking at how many people out here in the water enjoying this today. Guy's boat's right here, so he's out obviously doing his thing. It's a beautiful day for this, man. The visibility is off the charts.
I can't shake your hand, man.
We're here with Guy Harvey and his son Alex, who not only are friends, but basically family to me. And Guy is here with a whole crew of biologists from the United States doing some census and actually some ultrasound work on these stingrays.
We've been working on stingrays for 13 years now. Covered their population pretty well in that time. Every animal is tagged, so we track its life history. What we're concentrating on is ultrasounding them to test for stages of pregnancy. Now this is a medium-sized female. She weighs about 85 pounds, fully mature, probably 20 years old. And probably had pups before. You can see she's got a big bump right here. Yep. So she's definitely pregnant, this one.
Oh my God.
We can't tell how many pups are in there without using the ultrasound machine. The animals are caught by hand. We put them in the boat, into a pond, a kiddie's pool, measure them, take DNA, take blood, and do the ultrasound and then send them back. They're very long-lived. They live 50, 60 years. Of course, that's where their value lies, of course, in that they can remain an attraction here for so many people for such a long time.
Absolutely. There's very few places in the world that you can interact with a fish like this. I mean, marine mammals, absolutely.
Yeah.
But a fish, this is a rare.
And she has been done already. You see how we take a bee out of their fin?
Right there. So you know
we can see in the population of 100 animals here that we're not going to do this one again.
Yes.
Cool. We're doing this 4 times this year because we really want to get a better handle on the reproductive cycle of these animals.
Yep.
And this girl's about had enough of us, so she's not going to let her go. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
There we go.
Oh, look at that.
All right.
This is actually a pretty big size for a boy, for a male. The male southern rays are definitely much smaller than the female rays.
So they have a little pit tag in there. It's a tiny little microchip. And so that's how we individualize each animal.
What do you think is the population of them out here at any given time?
That is a really difficult question. I can tell you that we spend at least 3 days, if usually it's more like 4 to 5, and we catch all of them that we possibly can. And it's usually around like 85-ish animals. I'm sure that there are more that we're not catching.
If you could help us out, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yep. But I really, really appreciate what you guys are doing with these animals. And I'm certain the stingrays do too. They may not know when they're in this tub with you, but I guarantee when they're out of this tub, if they knew what you were doing, they would be giving you a high five. Or whatever stingrays do in stingrays. Captain Freddie, pleasure to meet you, buddy.
Morning, same here.
Your reputation precedes you, which is all good. Andy, thank you so much for the invite to come fishing with you, buddy.
You're welcome.
Freddie, what are we looking at catching today?
Well, this morning we're going to target the wahoo.
Oh, okay.
Tide's going to be falling for the next hour or so, and we got a moon set. So guys, let's get on the boat. Let's go fishing.
Let's do it. I'm all over that. So we go out, we pick up Richard. So we troll around that south side of the island, and now we're mixing up our patterns. We're pretty much throwing the gamut at them just to see what's going to get bit. And unfortunately, nothing's getting bit. What's our next plan? Head downwind?
Yep.
Come around to what? East end? I mean the west end?
Side.
South side.
Yeah. We'll get him, Bill. We'll get him.
Nobody knows that there's fish in Grand Cayman.
And it's nice because most places you go fishing, you got to run way offshore to get the fish we get here, a hand's throw away from the shore. We do pick people up from the cruise ship.
You do?
We'll either pick people up right in the harbor to get more fishing time because you're fishing right from there.
Yes.
You can do a half day. Within a half an hour, 20 minutes of leaving the dock, you're in the perfect zone for catching big fish.
All right, we are on. And we're bringing about a 9-10 pound wahoo. Small fish, but guess what? It's a fish, it's a wahoo, it's edible. We had an amazing trip around the island. We learned a lot about the fishing here on Grand Cayman and what it can be this time of year. So we thought day 2, we're gonna go offshore. We're gonna go to a place called the 12 Mile Bank, but we're gonna go out there and target yellowfin tuna. And immediately, I don't think our lures were in the water 30 seconds, we got bit. About a 15-pound barracuda, a great barracuda. This is classic. Look at it, it's actually an ice fishing rod. And they're chunking little pieces of bait. And there's beautiful flying fish out here. And they're eating these baits. Oh, and he farms it at the boat.
All right, let's see it.
Oh, and he rolls it in the boat. So we set ourselves up in a perfect spot. Now we've got some live flying fish going. We got the chum line. We got those sprats going down there. Probably every one of those chum we threw over got chewed, but not the one with the hooks, because these fish on this given day were just a little smarter than us. So next day we get up, and it's something I've been looking forward to do every time I come to Grand Cayman, and pretty much every time I get up with Guy Harvey, and that is our love of diving. But this particular day, we're going to target something that has become a huge nuisance throughout the Atlantic and the Caribbean, and that is the lionfish, a tropical fish in the South Pacific, which is a beautiful fish, but extremely poisonous. Their high rate of reproduction and their amazing ability to adapt to different habitats, that doesn't bode well for a fish that can be that predatory upon other reef fishes and has no natural predators. So we were gonna go out on a culling dive in which you're actually harvesting these lionfish for table fare.
Let's go get them, mate. So we're anchored up here in an area where people don't dive, because this is where you find the majority of the lionfish.
Is there a commercial fishery for these lionfish?
There isn't yet, but a lot of the dive guys do sell the fish, and we do wish that some of the Caymanians would take up the initiative and just do it full time.
Yeah.
Because the fish taste great, and they end up in the restaurants here, and it's a great substitute now for groupers and snappers that have been under such pressure for so many decades.
Fabulous.
Let's go get wet.
So we came down, immediately got right in the zone where Guy knew we'd be finding those lionfish. And it didn't take us long. I think he shot his first fish the first 5 minutes of the dive. But I got one, I stuck one of these little short 3-foot spears. I think we got 7 or 8 lionfish that dive.
Great dive.
All right.
Yep. So there used to be tons that size, Bill,
Really?
along these walls here where nobody dives. There's a lot of baby ones like this around. You can see they've got 13 dorsal spines. That's the real poisonous ones.
Okay.
Then they have 2 on the pelvic fin and 3 on the anal fin.
Oh, they do, they sure do.
So when they die, I use these shears just to cut the spines off
Okay.
before we handle them.
The fact that we only saw 20 in a non-typical dive site is an indication that perhaps the populations are starting to wane. Guy, thank you so much for that,
great
man.
dive.
It was a great dive. So after our dive with the lionfish, we rendezvous at the world famous Stingray City, we get back on the Stocks and Blondes with the whole family, the McCartney family, and we're gonna go out and see if we can't catch a tarpon and maybe a bonefish or maybe some of these jacks out there on the flats. Well, why don't we let you guys catch the first fish, give us a lesson here, and show the kids at home how much fun it is to come here to Grand Cayman and catch some inshore stuff.
All right.
Alrighty.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna hook this shy. That way, when he swallows it, that hook's right there ready to go around his lip.
So Captain Rich is doing a really good job of kind of coaching him on, hey, this is a circle hook. You're not gonna jerk on this fish. When it comes tight, just slowly raise the rod tip up and hope that we can hook him up.
You all ready? All right. Open up the bail. That's a nice fish.
And it didn't take long and Josh got bit. Came up on the fish, got up on tight, and that thing just started smoking down the channel. It made one beautiful jump and it just came unbuttoned.
The engine started.
And that's when we decided to go out to the flats, find these areas that are mudding, and throw some little bucktails and some shrimp, see if we can't catch a fish for Riley and for Josh. Josh got a nice little bonefish, I'd say about a 3-pounder.
Going.
Cool fish. And then we had little Riley hooking up on some fish in her little pink rod. She's so excited. We're hanging on to her going, hey girl, you're gonna have to get in this boat to fight these fish. Jack! No wonder it's full. And you know what? Sometimes it's not about going out to a place and catching that blue marlin. It's not about pulling on that big tuna or seeing the speed and agility of a wahoo. Sometimes it's all about taking kids out fishing and kind of reliving your life of fishing through the enjoyment that they're getting doing that. Andrew and Paula, Captain Freddie, and Franklin, we all joined forces at about 5 a.m. We're just gonna fish pretty locally. Just get outside North Sound, look for some birds, and see what we can do. Because again, one of the charter boats got a big wahoo and a nice blue marlin right in that area the day before. So we know the fish are around. It's just a matter of getting lucky. So come out of the North Sound, put out the wireline rods, hoping for that big wahoo, and we get bit. But as things have been going this week, it's more barracudas. So we realized, hey, look, this isn't the game we came for. We've got plenty of barracuda this week. Let's go out in some deeper waters and try to target that mahi-mahi, the elusive tuna, or even the more elusive blue marlin.
Buying fish. Want it? Come and get it.
I love that. You gotta buy a fish. I'm gonna pay for a strike today. So we're strolling out there for some marlin. We have some stuff out there on the line. And on the bird radar, we started seeing birds again. We see the birds, come up on them, and they're on a patty. This is literally the best thing we've seen all week. We have birds on a beautiful patty, no other boats around, and this looks fishy.
This is the best thing we got.
It is the best thing we've got. We're feeling great. We're all kind of like, yeah, the anticipation's going crazy. We're thinking this is our time, this is our day, this is gonna happen. We went by it, nobody home. It was maddening.
IGFA Anglers Digest, proudly sponsored by Reactor Watches, Best Built Performance Sports Watch, period. King Sailfish Mounts, from the water to your wall. Tough Line, braided lines for the toughest fish. Bubba Blades, the ultimate sportsman's knife. The Los Cabos Tourism Board.
Today we're going to start off with a new crew. We want to get a bunch of these Cayman Island Fishing Club members involved in the shoot. So we brought out Josh Eubanks, young kid, talented angler, 27 years old, been winning a lot of tournaments as of late, and Chris Briggs, who's also a very prominent fish captain out here. But we really need some luck. The weather's been so good, the fish haven't really been coming up. But it looks like we got a change in the weather, which is always a good thing for us with marlin, because you want a little bit more bump out there. We've also got Lady Luck on board, and that is Morgan McCartney, the daughter of Andrew and Paula McCartney. We go out, put the lines out,
Overhead.
all right, and we sure enough got bit. Takedown just didn't get stuck. But the fact that we had a bite is a good sign to us. We trolled all over the best, fishiest spots in the northwest corner of Grand Cayman without a strike. We needed a secret weapon. Andrew pulls out his secret weapon, and that is this big bowling pin teaser. And they have a lot of erratic action back there. And sometimes they're kind of hard to pull back out of the water if you do tease up a fish.
See that, Darryl? No marlin strikes. It's gonna come back on board all ripped up.
We put it back there more than anything else to amuse Andrew with his new toy. And sure enough, oh yes! Late in the afternoon, we got about 30 minutes left of the day, and we get plowed on a Moldcraft Bobby Brown plunger, peeling line. We're clearing the lines. Andrew picked the rod up. The fish makes a couple of shoulder humping jumps.
Jumped off!
And it comes unbuttoned. Doggone it! And you know what? That's marlin fishing with lures. That happens all the time. But the whole thing was, we only have about a half a day tomorrow. So at least we know where we want to run to. And we need to catch the first marlin on the Stocks and Blondes. It's a brand new boat. It's only been out a dozen times. What we literally want to do is initiate the boat with its first marlin. And if we can be on the boat filming that, that'll make our week. And you know what? It'll really make Andrew and Paula's year. Well, boys, this is a brand new bowling pin teaser. I pulled this thing up and I'm looking at all these bill marks and a tooth mark. That raised that fish we got bit on. Hadn't seen a fish all day. Had this thing out for a couple of hours, and this is what raised that fish today.
Yep. Guess what's going out in the spread tomorrow morning?
It's our last day. We have maybe a half a day to fish. We got to start about 7:30. The tide's gonna be perfect around 9. So we're feeling pretty good about our shot, pretty good about our chances. We get prepared, we're all ready. We deploy a couple of ballyhoos back there, and sure enough, you see Dorado coming into the pattern. One comes across, eats my bait. I'm thinking, oh, this is great, I'm bit. Give it about a 3-second drop back, come tight, spit it. I would say that was a bite. Well, they're home. We make a big circle, come back, didn't get bit. Josh goes up to the tower, sees the birds, goes back up into them, sees another Dorado. He comes running down, grabs the light Carolina rod. He's on, he's on. Excellent. He gets bit, hooked up. We land about a 15-pound dolphin. We're on the board, man. As we're catching that Dorado, one of the club members goes past us in a 30-foot lures, a tournament boat, and Franklin mentioned, oh, he's a really nice guy. He's a club member and a good fisherman, and he's got his son and his nephew on the boat. That's it, no mates, just dad, son, nephew. They call us on the radio. They said, we are double hooked up to blue marlin. The captain's going, I'm not sure how I'm gonna handle this with 2 boys and myself. It's a pretty precarious situation to be in. So he calls us up and says, is there any chance you guys wanna come over here and maybe take one of these rods off our hands? We slide up to him, we put a rope around the reel, pass us the rope, we pull the rod and reel into our boat. Woohoo! Thanks guys, that's crazy, man, good job! We bring it in, about 175-pound blue marlin, a stumpy little blue male. Bring it up tight, we realize it's not even hooked. The line is wrapped around the bill and just kind of barely stuck back in itself. So we're thinking, man, we're lucky to even get this fish as close as we did. We messed around with it a little bit, bingo, the lure and the line came right off of its snooter, fish swims away, we're all good to go. We're back on the bite. Great job, boys.
We released the marlin.
But more importantly, it just shows people that there's marlin here. This is April. They got a double hookup. Well, you guys, it's only 9:45. I mean, the marlin are chewing. Let's do it again. We just have a real good feeling we're getting a shot on a marlin.
Nice fish, Larry. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks so much, you guys. Well, we only have about an hour left to fish. So our option was leave that area just around the corner, start heading back to the barn, do a zigzag pattern so we cover a little bit of ground, and now we start seeing a showering of flying fish, something chasing them. So Captain Chris Briggs turns the boat, heads out into them, and all heck breaks loose. And we looked at Andrew and said, Andrew, this is your time. This is gonna be the first blue marlin that you're gonna catch on your boat since you bought it. He's on, we got a double! We got a double right here! Another marlin comes into the pattern. We're just hoping they stick, because as we've seen before, it's one thing to get them to bite, it's another thing to hook them up where they stay, where you can release them. Double blues right here in Grand Cayman, man. Same thing, half mile off the beach. I'm staying tight on my fish because any slack is gonna give him the ability to be able to throw that hook. And we wanna get my fish in first because it's closest, and then get back down on Andy's fish. Bring it up the boat, and oh my God. This fish is furious when it got to the side of the boat. Franklin bends down with his gloves, grabbed it by the bill, we're trying to get the hook out of it, and I tell you what, that marlin is shaking Franklin's arms. We finally got the hook out, release it, now we're gonna get on Andrew's fish. Andrew's is guiding it right over to the boat, comes right up, we grab leader, come up, and as soon as we go to get it, the fish shakes his head, shakes the hook. There we go. An absolute flawless release.
Congrats, guys! Yeah, great one!
And that's what brings people fishing. That's why you come back and do this stuff. It's not always the catching. Sometimes it's the not catching, and then when you do, it's just a double bonus.
Hey, the honest way, right? Hooked them ourselves. How hard we work for that fish, Bill.
A few more minutes and it would have been lions out, guys. Doubled up.
Double hookup, double catch, double header, as they say in the industry, and triple the fun. Oh, man. I'm throwing out a huge shout out to Franklin Thompson and the entire Cayman Island Angling Club. Every one of you were a joy to meet. It was our honor to be guests of yours this week. Also to Andrew and Paula McCartney, your beautiful family, Morgan, Josh, and Riley. And to Guy Harvey and Jillian Harvey, your son Alex, who are family to me. And it's always great to come back and share a camaraderie with you guys. Thank you for everything you did to make us comfortable this week. We look forward to coming back again as soon as we can. And we would love to come back to do something on Little Cayman, Cayman Brac, and experience some more fishing and diving here on Grand Cayman. Thank you all, and we really, really enjoyed ourselves.
Thanks for coming, man. Great to have you guys.